In December 2025, Isaac Michell won the ADCC Asia Trials in Thailand. He secured his invitation to ADCC 2026, the biggest competition in grappling. He was training under John Danaher and Gordon Ryan at Kingsway Jiu-Jitsu. He was being talked about as a future ADCC champion. And then, days later, he was gone, kicked out of his team. Multiple women came forward with allegations of sexual assault. Police were reportedly involved. He has not returned to the United States since. One of the sport's most promising prospects, gone overnight. But here's the thing, Isaac Michell isn't the only rising star whose career just imploded. In the past year, 3 of the most talented athletes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu have seen their careers derail. Not because of injuries, not because they lost matches, but because of their actions off the mat. 3 different situations, 3 different types of misconduct, 3 uncertain futures. Today, we're talking about Isaac Michell, Jay Rodriguez, and Jacob Couch. This isn't a scandal video. This is about accountability and consequences. I'm going to present the facts as they've been publicly reported. No speculation, no judgment, just the documented timeline of what happened to them. And more importantly, what the path forward looks like for these 3 BJJ athletes. Before we get into what went wrong, you need to understand just how talented these athletes were and how much they had to lose. Let's start with Isaac Michell, one of Australia's biggest rising stars in grappling. He trained with B-Team and most recently with Kingsway Jiu-Jitsu under John Danaher and Gordon Ryan. In December 2025, Michell won the ADCC Asia Trials in Thailand, beating Kenta Iwamoto and securing his invitation to ADCC 2026, the Olympics of grappling. He was being talked about as a future ADCC champion. The next generation, J-Rod, Jacob Rodriguez. At ADCC 2024, he took home the silver medal at 88 kilograms, cementing himself as one of the most explosive grapplers in the world. He wasn't just skilled, he was a fan favorite, charismatic, hungry, and representing B-Team Jiu-Jitsu. At just 23 years old, with his older brother Nicky Rodriguez already a star, J-Rod seemed destined for greatness. And then there's Jacob Couch, the Hillbilly Hammer. If you've watched the Daisy Fresh documentary series, you know Jacob's story. A kid from Kentucky who found Jiu-Jitsu and transformed his life. He trained at Pedigo submission fighting and became a 3-time IBJJF World Champion. His story embodied the American grappling dream, blue-collar work ethic, small-town roots, and elite-level success. Fans loved him. All 3 had momentum, all 3 had the spotlight, and then everything fell apart. In mid-December 2025, Gordon Ryan announced that Isaac Michell was no longer affiliated with Kingsway Jiu-Jitsu. The announcement was brief and stated they had been advised not to share further details. Days later, multiple women came forward publicly. Hannah Griffith, sister of professional grappler Luke Griffith, shared a statement on Instagram accusing Michell of sexually assaulting her. Another woman, Ariel DeHaro, also came forward with similar allegations. Michell released audio statements claiming he's the target of a coordinated campaign. He has not returned to the United States and is reportedly still in Thailand. These are allegations. No charges have been publicly filed as of this recording, but they are serious enough that his team immediately severed ties. In May 2025, Jay Rodriguez was removed from B-Team Jiu-Jitsu. In a public statement, Rodriguez acknowledged unhealthy interactions with women in the gym.
What's up, guys? You may have heard that I have been banned from B-Team, and this is true.
He stated he had been attending therapy for what he described as a pornography addiction and was seeking to change his behavior. He admitted his actions were wrong and apologized. According to reports, Rodriguez allegedly maintained folders on his phone containing screenshots from women's public Instagram profiles alongside adult content selected to resemble those women. This created an unsafe environment for female athletes at B-Team. B-Team's statement was clear: B-Team is a safe training place for all, and we have a zero-tolerance policy for anyone breaching that trust. A female B-Team member, Peyton Liza, came forward alleging that Rodriguez had also been physically and emotionally abusive during their relationship. J-Rod has been unable to train at elite gyms in Austin since the ban. In a recent podcast appearance, he stated he hasn't trained properly in months and described himself as effectively blacklisted. In March 2025, Emma Bruntil, a two-time NCAA Champion wrestler and Team USA member, published a detailed account of her relationship with Jacob Couch. Bruntil alleged that Couch was controlling, isolating, and threatening throughout their relationship. She stated that Couch threatened to kill her, made threats against her childhood dog, and created an environment where she felt unsafe. She described patterns consistent with domestic abuse, isolation from friends, constant monitoring of her location, explosive anger followed by periods of apologies. The relationship ended in May 2024, but Emma waited nearly a year before sharing her story publicly. Jacob Couch responded, and he admitted to the abuse. In his public statement, Couch wrote, "It doesn't really matter what Emma did or didn't do to me. The only thing that really matters is my actions. I let myself get to a bad place. I'm ashamed of the way I acted. I really don't much deserve to be forgiven." As a result, Inverted Gear immediately terminated their sponsorship of Couch. Three talented athletes, three very different situations, and three very uncertain futures. For Isaac Michell, there is no clear path forward. He's been expelled from two of the most elite teams in grappling. Multiple women have come forward with allegations. ADCC will need to decide what to do with his 2026 invitation. But even if they allow him to compete, where does he train? What elite gym is going to risk their reputation and their female athletes' safety to give him a spot? These are unproven allegations, and Michel has not been charged with any crime as of this recording, but his path back to elite competition may not exist at all, based on the severity of the allegations and the response from the community. For J-Rod and Jacob Couch, both of whom admitted wrongdoing and took accountability, the path forward exists, but it's neither easy nor guaranteed. J-Rod sought therapy and expressed remorse. Jacob Couch took full responsibility and apologized to Emma. Those are necessary first steps, but apologies don't erase harm. They don't automatically restore trust. J-Rod's challenge is access to training. He's admitted wrongdoing, sought therapy, and expressed remorse. But without the ability to train at elite gyms, his competitive career is on pause. The question isn't just about forgiveness, it's about whether gym owners and teammates feel safe allowing him back. But this story is bigger than three individuals. For years, combat sports have struggled with these issues, training environments where inappropriate behavior was tolerated, a culture that dismissed complaints, stars whose talent granted them immunity. The response in 2025 was different. B-Team removed J-Rod, the brother of a co-founder, because they understood that safe training environments matter more than medals. Sponsors dropped Couch immediately. This represents a shift. The jiu-jitsu community is starting to hold athletes accountable regardless of their competitive success. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wants to be a mainstream sport. We want the sponsors, the media coverage, we want the athletes to get paid more. But you don't get that when three rising stars implode in 1 year because of allegations like these. If BJJ wants to grow beyond the hardcore fan base, this can't keep happening. And to the athletes watching this, talent is not a shield. Your skill on the mat doesn't excuse your behavior off it. 3 rising stars who imploded in 2025. Out of these 3 athletes, who do you think realistically will be able to rise again? Let me know in the comments.